In this video, I'd like to talk about methods again, and this time create a method that maybe is more complex and also that contains a review concept from previous videos that I've made. So the method that I'm going to talk about here, we'll walk through the method header. Remember the first line here that defines it and declares it. Public means that the method is really open to be used. We'll leave it at that for now. It's open, it's public and open. Static. At this point in this course, static means that we're going to do something and manipulate, do some editing of some things, but static really for now means that we're not dealing with an object in particular, although some here would realize I'm dealing with an array list. And so remember the third item here is it says array list, and that's what's going to get returned in this method. And this return is usually, an int, because we're going to return an integer with this method, or a double, we're going to return a decimal with this method, or a string, we'll return a string. But this time I'm going to return an array list. This video will review array lists a little bit. And then we have the title of our method, and this one's called getDemNums. And inside parentheses, remember we have our parameters, the things that the method needs to operate and to run. So what this method is going to do is it's going to create a new array list. And it's going to create an array list of integers. And so I'm going to call this my new list. Okay, that's the name of this array list I'm going to create. I need to create a new one. And as you can see, if you've learned anything about objects, you can tell that I'm actually creating an object, an array list object. Now I'm going to go new list. I'm going to add, remember this is how we add things, and I'm going to add a. Remember a is a parameter. It's one of the things that gets passed here. If you're wondering why I have an error, I just haven't used the return statement yet, and since I've declared an array list will be returned, and I haven't returned an array list yet, I still have an error sitting there, but I will deal with that at the end because my return will be my last statement. So I'm going to add some things to the array list, and we'll review. So I'll go b mod a, we'll add another number. Remember b and a are the two parameters here. New list dot add, I'm going to add a plus b, and then I'm going to add on, let's do new list dot size, because new list dot size is something about array lists that we should know at this point if you have been following my course in order. And we're going to return the new list. So I've created a complete method here, and the job of this method is to take in two numbers that the user is going to pass to it, or that the main method will pass to it. It's going to create an array list, and it's going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers into that array list. The first number it's going to add is just going to be the first item that's passed. The second thing that's going to get added, or the second number in the list, is going to be whatever b mod a is. Remember, that's the remainder when you divide. The third number is going to be whatever it is when you add the two parameters together. And the fourth item, which is actually a little tricky, it says you're going to add the new list.size. Well, this new list.size gets calculated here, and you have to remember that there are 3 items before this line, 1, 2, 3. So new list.size is the number 3, and then we add the number 3 onto my list, and after this line of code, so right here where my cursor is, the list is now 4. Okay, it's very important to realize that. And this line of code right here will calculate the list size of 3 and dump the number 3 into the list. But once that line runs, we now have a list size of 4. Right, so that method is complete. Now I'm going to go down to my main method just to review how things work down here. I'll type my main method here, and I'm going to create a new array list down here. So I'm going to create a new array list of integers. I'll call this one list. I'll just use my list. Make a new array list. And this array list is going to, let's see, we'll add, this is called list, so we'll add, I'm just going to add some numbers to this one, add 9, list.add 5, list.add 7. Alright, so that has 3 items in that list. Okay, and then I'm going to create another array list. So be a little bit careful here in this example. I have kind of three array lists that I have to track right now in my class here. So let's see, final, this will be called my final list. But this time when I create this one, when I create this final list, I'm actually going to set it equal to whatever the answer is, or whatever the return value is when I run getDemNums. Now remember, getDemNums is my method up here that's going to create an array list, and it's going to calculate some things. Okay, so what am I going to do? I am going to run getDemNums. Now remember, getDemNums is not going to run yet. It's not going to run until I tell it two integer values, because the parameters up here, I need two integers to run this thing. And now I'm not just going to type two numbers here, because that would be too easy. Let's use this list I created up here. Okay, so the two numbers I'm going to pass are going to be list.get1 and list.get0. And now, as I take a look here, I gotta change the name of my method here, getDemNums. All right, now all's good. And there's no more error because I'm actually sending it two numbers, and now I need to know what numbers I'm sending it. I'm sending it index 1 in list. So list is the one I just created here, and index 1 is this number 5 right here. If you recall, this list that gets generated over here, the list is equal to 957. So index 1 is the number 5. The second number I'm going to pass right here, list.get0, index 0, so it's going to be 9. So I'm passing it the number 5 and the number 9. So I have to remember here at this stage in the program, I'm going to be really calling getDemNums 59. That's really what I'm calling. So my program is going to run up here. It's going to run getDemNums 95. A is 9, B is 5. You could pause the video if you'd like and try to calculate all these up here to see if you get the new list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an integer value down here. Int tracker equals list.size. Okay, I'm going to keep track of the size of list. Well, okay, list size, that would be this one. This is the list right here. It has 3 items. Remember, I put that in a comment right here. It has 3 items, so the size is 3. And now I'm going to create a for loop, another nice little review topic that shows up all over the place with arrays and array lists. For int I equals 0, I is less than tracker, I plus plus. So keep in mind what I'm doing here. Right now, what I'm trying to do is I am looping. I'm keeping track of i's. I is less than tracker. Tracker is 3. So really what I'm looking for here is this loop is going to run for I equals 0, 1, 2, because I have to be less than 3. So those are what the I values will be that are going to run here. And I'm going to put an if statement in here. If list.getI, all right, think about that. If it is less than final list.getI, okay. Uh, if list.getI is less than final list.getI, so let's think about this. It's going to check item 0 in the list. It's going to check item 0 in the final list, and it's going to check them. If it finds out that list is smaller than final list, then what we're going to do is we're going to set final list equal to I comma 0. All right, now I just did a whole ton of stuff here. So it's basically going to check your two lists. What are your two lists? Well, we have this list 957 happening right there, and we have final list. Remember final list, what it's doing. I'll track that and just type this out here. Final list is passing 5 and 9 to getDemNums. 5 and 9 to getDemNums. So we come up here to 5 and 9. A is 5. 9 mod A is 4, so we have 5, 4. 9 plus 5 is I'm sorry, 5 plus 9 is 14. And the size right here would be 3. So it looks like we're going to end up with 5, 4, 14, and 3. 5, 4, 14, and 3. And I can verify that here in a minute. But what it's going to do is it compares these, and it's basically aligning these, and it's saying, let's compare these. If this number, the 9, is smaller than this number, the 5, then what we're going to do is we're going to change the final list. Well, 9 is not smaller than 5, so we move on. In this one, 5 is bigger than 4, so it doesn't do anything. In this case, 7 is smaller than 14, so what it does is it sets final list. It changes this number to 0 is what it does. It changes it to 0. So down here, we've changed final list at the end of this code. And what I'd like to do is I would like to print these two lists. So I'm just going to print list, and I'm going to print final list here. And we will just verify what they are so you can see what's happened here. So as it runs, this is good practice and good review of array lists. And you can see here that I have my 5403, the final list was edited, and I still have my list as 957. It's a good problem to review a lot of things with methods and array lists.